Buonasera, welcome back to our sessions. If you are new here, let me explain what I do. I have on this channel, I have a playlist which is for beginners. In fact, it is called Italian for Beginners, and we have 30 lessons so far. So if you've never studied Italian, if you are looking to learn Italian, you can start looking at these videos, and I would recommend to start from number one and then continue from there because there is a gradual progress. And these lessons obviously don't cover everything you would need to know, but it gives you some ideas and some knowledge, of course, and then you do need to do your work. As I said, this can also help people who have been studying already and maybe they just need a bit of revision, mainly rules like grammar rules or seeing the difference between different verbs and how to use certain tenses. So this, I said, it will be on the playlist Italian for Beginners, and also on the channel there are some videos which cover different topics. Again, as I said, there will be how videos on how to use certain tenses and the rules, the endings, and also varied topics. What I like to do is, in fact, what I encourage people to do is to make requests if you want. So feel free to add any comment. If you have any questions, I will answer in the comments if it's a short reply. Otherwise, very happy always to upload a video if there is. A lot more information that I can add to a video, or if I haven't covered a topic in particular, feel free to suggest it, and I will cover it at some point. I try and do it quite quickly, but depends on many things. And then let me remind you to like, subscribe, and share it, share the videos with whoever you think might be useful. And also, I do private tuitions. I do have some students a little bit in different countries because I teach online now. I don't teach in person anymore, so it is easy or possible to arrange lessons with whoever or with somebody wherever they are. Um, so let's today we're going to talk when it's not really grammar, just a little topic that I mentioned in one of the previous videos, and I thought it would be a good idea to talk about it. So let me see. I'm going to share the video. Let's see if you recognize this word. Some of you will know already what it means, and others are going to learn it now. So, fare la fila o fare la coda. What does it mean? Fila is a row, coda is literally is a tail. So, fare la fila or fare la coda is to queue. Um, if you if you've had the experience either going to Italy as a tourist or living in Italy as well, or spending some time in Italy, you must have seen the way Italians queue. In fact, the way Italians do not queue. It is a strange. I think Italians in general are a little bit unruly in the sense that they just what can we say? Yeah, they don't necessarily follow um, every little instruction, let's put it this way. And this is a big example of how Italians are a little bit more relaxed. Let's call it relaxed. Yes, it's not that they don't follow rules in general. So when it comes to queue, you must have seen the queue. Normally a queue is like a long row of people, one behind the other. But Italians, they don't seem to be able to do that. In Italy, a queue is just a blob of people, just a group of people. So you have to just join the blob, join the mass of people, and make sure that you do know. In fact, normally you do ask, for example, if you're queuing for something, which could be the doctor, or in an office, or in different places where, in theory, there is an order. So what you do, you arrive and you ask who is the last person who arrived. So you watch that person and you know you're behind them, you're after them. So it doesn't matter who is before, but you just watch them because they know who is before them, and the other person knows who is before them. So it's like a chain. And so it is not it's not necessary to be in a row to do that. You just watch one person and just wait until it's that person's turn, and then it will be yours. So yes, this can happen in a bank as well. Now I've seen it. I've spent a little bit more time than usual in Italy, so I've seen this interesting technique in a bank, and well, in offices as well, to do documents as well. Um, in fact, a little example is this is like real life example. I made an appointment for some documents, so I went to the office, and the appointment was at 11. So I go there a little bit earlier because I like to be on time. So I go there at 11. There was a gigantic group of people, and their appointment also was at 11. So, so there is no appointment, basically. Yeah, there is no appointment. They tell you to go there at a certain time, but they have told many other people uh, to go there exactly at the same time. So you have to do exactly the same. You have to ask who was the last person who arrived, and you are behind them. Yeah, so there is one way. Other real life stories. In fact, we don't need to watch this. Real life stories. For example, this queuing at the airports in Italy. Um, People again. Italians don't mind staying close to other people in other countries. I'm talking in particular about the UK. There is a certain distance, physical distance, um, when you're queuing, especially when you're in public places. You don't stay like attached here. You know, Italians, they just like to be like attached like a tick, very, very close to you. So anyway, I left a little bit of space, like the space of one person between me and the person before me. So obviously somebody must have thought, what a waste of space. I'm gonna use the space. I don't want to waste it. So actually it was a guy, yeah, in his 25 years old or 30s, and he just placed himself in front of me. There was a long queue. There were people behind me and in front of me, but the space could not be wasted. So he just placed himself there because he must have thought there is something wrong in this empty space between people. So yeah, you do actually get people very, very close to you when you are forced to be in a queue like an airport, just because there are those lines, those what are they called? Where you just walk and walk and walk in order to get to the check-in, for example. So there is only space, in theory, for one or two people sometimes. So you really have to watch both sides and behind you as well. And if you don't want other people to um, got in front of you, you have to, I don't know, stay as close to the person in front of you as they would do, or as others would do. A little story that I remember this from, in fact, no, I didn't witness this one in particular. However, at the introduction to this story in particular, many years ago when I used to go to school here, like high school, which would be like college, um, and we used to here from this town, which was a smaller town, we used to go to a bigger town where most high schools were, colleges were. And so there were a lot of students. So this is between like 15 and 14 and 18-year old. And we used to take the coach. So there were many coaches. They went from this town to the other town. Same coaches that people, anyone, not just students, use to go to the other town and do shopping, for example, or documents, poor things. I feel sorry for them, whoever needs to do documents. So it's really, yeah, they're in for, a lot of weight. And when there was this round square where all the coaches arrived, where so the students from the different colleges used to come to this square, and all the coaches went to different towns and villages as well. Um, so a sight that you would witness quite often was so there was a specific spot for each town or each village where the coach would stop. So you'd see the coach coming and had to go around and around the square and then stop at the stop. So you could see these students, um, all they see the coach, ran towards the coach, grabbed the door. So it was always a group of kids attached to the door, the front door, which was closed, and just running with the coach, because they wanted to be first to go in. Um, the coach will still move with a group of people attached running along it. And then they open the door, which opens sideways. So you have to be careful not to be squashed in the door opening. And then obviously you had, like, I don't know, a few people like squeezed, like a group, there was the queue. There's a group of people, of students trying to go in, but they couldn't because they were attached to each other. So there wasn't enough space. So one of them eventually would like explode out of this pressure and manage to finally get in. And then the others would follow. And maybe sometimes you manage to get on the coach, but then your bag is still down there because they got caught. So it's like, it's trying to get in, but then your bag is there. So somebody has to, push you, and then eventually your bag would follow. But what I saw in this, the coaches, they are this at the top, there are the windows that you open just at the top. They are the big windows that you cannot open, and then at the top there are some windows that you can slide and open. So these are normally the kids, like the boys, which were always like very tall and thin for some reason. So they worked out a good technique. So one or more than one would pull one up, who would go through, if there was a window open already, they would go through the window and their friends would pull him or push him in. So they would go inside from the window and then take the seats, like you take your own seats, and then you put one bag for your friend and maybe another two other seats. You put something else, a book or something else. So you take the seats for your friends as well. So there is the rush and the necessity of doing such thing. And then obviously after a whole day of lessons at school, you were tired as well and you wanted to sit. And And then you wanted to make sure, because there were so many students, you wanted to make sure to actually manage to get on the coach, because sometimes you sit down and then there are all the people standing as well if there are no spaces. So one thing that I did not witness, but somebody told me, imagine exactly the same thing. The coach arriving, the kids following the coach and pushing each other and trying to get in. And there was this poor, this unlucky woman who unfortunately was in this town for whichever reason, and she had to share the coach with the students, with these wild students, um, and so she was, she got pushed in every direction, and basically you get like transported by the whole group. Maybe some people actually don't even touch the feet on the ground. You just get transported and eventually find yourself on the coach. So this lady, which wasn't very big, quite short, but she had a weapon. She had an umbrella. So she started complaining about the fact that she was being pushed by these kids and without any respect. So she started using her umbrella as a weapon and just hitting the kids in order to, make her way to the door and then eventually the stairs. And then, I don't know, hopefully she did find a seat at some point. Uh, so yeah, this is how Italians, or some Italians, normally queue. So yes, this is it still does happen. Um, this type of very confusing thing. And also, if you lose your focus, somebody will try, and as I said before, they will try and push in and just take your, go before you in whatever the queue is for. It doesn't even matter. It's not necessarily important. I don't know, it is a very strange thing. Luckily, in some places, there are, thinking about like supermarkets, for example, where there are the counters, there are the numbers, you take the number and they call the number. That is very good. However, yes, in most places, like offices to do documents, bank and doctor, you don't necessarily, in fact, the doctor, you don't even sometimes, I'm not talking about everywhere in Italy, because I'm sure in somewhere in Italy things have changed. It is a little bit old style, but it still happens. Uh, so when you go to the doctor, you don't have an appointment, you just go. And again, you just hope to find not many, many people. This doctor, like the GP. However, you go in and you ask, chi è l'ultimo? Who is the last one? So who was the last one to arrive? Chi è l'ultimo? And so you know that person. So you actually say loud so everybody knows, I am after you then. And you are before me. Yes. So 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 yes, you have to keep watching this person. And so everybody is aware of who is before them. And you just yeah, so you just wait for their turn and then you know when your turn is. So yeah, this is queuing. I'm sure there are so many other stories that I've witnessed, but I can't think of them now. I will um tell some more maybe in the future. But if you have visited Italy, or even in your country, if you've had the um, opportunity to meet maybe a group of Italians, not necessarily just one Italian on their own, but a group of Italians queuing, or participating in what other people regard as queuing, which is in a row. And you've seen some funny things. Feel free to put in the comment and say where it happened, and I said in Italy or in another country, and you can tell your story as well. Uh, so yeah, this is, as I said, it is called fare la fila or fare la coda. So as I said, the fila to is essere in fila, to be in a row. So not just for a queue. Or fare la coda, as I said, coda, the word for coda is a tail. The coda is also a ponytail. Um, so you can, o la coda, today I have a ponytail, or mi faccio la coda. I do a ponytail to myself or for myself. So I'll make a ponytail. So yeah, this is how to queue in Italy. Just if how to queue in Italy, just do what others do. You just there's a lot of elbows as well. Just to use your elbows to make your way through anything. Um, if you do, if you're looking for a queue and you can't see it, there isn't necessarily one that said this is how it works. So if you are hoping in a queue sometimes and you're hoping for people to respect your place in the queue when there is a whole group, like the coach example, the coach situation, if you stay behind and hope to, for people to be in a queue, then you're not going to get anywhere. So just unfortunately, you have to do a little bit what people do here. Luckily, I haven't had the opportunity to, or the bad luck to, to have to queue or take a coach or anything like that for a long time. And another thing that I have put in this page, just because it shows again the different approach towards this from Italians is le strisce pedonali, literally the pedestrian stripes. So this we're talking about um, the what are they called now in English? The what are they called I can't think of the word in English now. Um, the the only one that I can think of is zebra crossing. I know there is another way. Anyway, um, this is again many years ago. Zebra crossings were just an ornament on decoration on the roads on the streets. Nobody, no car would stop at the zebra crossing. A completely pointless thing to have on the road. So um, you just cross. So in fact, even Italians, I think sometimes maybe they would, if they were there, they would use them. But otherwise, it doesn't because it didn't make any difference at all. It didn't matter. It just only the only time that you say, "Oh, let's use the zebra crossing," is if there was let's call it a warden, like a traffic, the traffic police, and then you'd get a fine if you were not using the zebra crossing. However, as I said, no car would stop at the the crossing. So um, how to cross the street, or how, yes, how Italians cross the street. You just have to go for it. You just have to just start going. Obviously, you have to be careful because you don't want to be killed or, run over anyway. But you just have to do it with courage. You just have to just start walking wherever you are, zebra crossing or otherwise without. Just make sure that the cars maybe are not too fast anyway, not too close, and then just go for it and just keep looking both sides because you don't know which way the cars are coming. What I've noticed now after many years, there are a lot of zebra crossings everywhere, and even this small town full of them in very inconvenient and dangerous places, really just after a crossroad, where cars, person, a driver, maybe needs to concentrate on cars coming from different directions, but they add the zebra crossing just there. So I think really whoever decide, they think they don't like pedestrians. They're just trying to get rid of pedestrians, because it really is so easy. It would be so easy to, to run somebody over. But what I've noticed, as I said, it is the very large number of zebra crossing now. Every few meters there is one in places that nobody needs them also. And people now actually they use them with confidence. They just go for it. They use zebra crossing, which is quite new. And normally now cars do stop, which is not everyone, but I would say most of them do. I wonder now, there must be people, I'm sure, who I'm talking about here. This is Sardinia, although I've seen exactly the same things everywhere, different areas of Italy. In general, let's say that in general, in the north, people should be more, tidier, and they follow the rules a little bit more. And then the more south you go, the less rules, the least rules are followed. So you have to, change a little bit and again look, watch the locals, see what they do. So as I said, so now there are cars who stop, not all of them. So if you still have to be careful, and once in a while people do get run over. And if I now, I think sometimes there is a little bit too much confidence, because sometimes also the zebra crossing, they're not very clear, and there are no signs. In England, for example, on the UK, there are lies to warn you that they are the zebra crossing for the drivers. But in Italy, or at least here, there is nothing. They're just faint white crossing that is difficult to see. And as I said, because there are so many, uh, which is they're not necessary. And sometimes people they decide to just cross without looking. Now they think, oh no, people cars now do stop, but not all of them. In fact, I remember when I first went to move to the UK, and it was really such a surprise. It was shocking that as soon as you go close to the zebra crossing, you're not even stopping and looking both ways. You're just approaching the zebra crossing. Everybody stops. In fact, I remember even lorries and buses, they stop. These big things, they own the road. But so I think probably in Italy they won't even think, that's not for me to follow these other things. It must be for cars, not for me, this big lorry. But yes, I do remember it was a completely new experience. The fact that uh, big lorries, buses, and every car, everyone would stop as soon as you're just getting close to the zebra crossing, which is very good. Obviously, you do get probably less people killed, and you don't need to wait sometimes a long time before managing to cross the road, which was a little bit the problem before. You just spend so much time waiting, keep looking and looking, hoping for somebody to stop, but they won't. So that's why you had to start walking. You have to just start crossing and hoping for the best again. Let me see if there are some other stories. I don't think I can't think of any other stories about these unruly Italians. Which is talking about that, unruly for certain things, but then for other things, they really do follow, like they listen to authority. In Believe it or not, it's a bit of a contrast or contradiction, really. There are some rules that say no, they're not for us, but others, they really are quite well, they fear let's use the word fear, or they really respect anyone with the uniform and all the rules that those types of rules where you can be yeah, stopped, for example, like police or carabinieri or other things. But then, as I said, in fact, instead, those everyday behaviors, instead, like the queuing, as it's not necessary. Anyway, I'll leave it here, and I would be curious to hear about your experiences in Italy. And this was I wanted to say, just a little thing before going. I remember this was one of my students many years ago, and he was telling me about his experience trying to cross the roads in Italy. And all the different theories that he heard from others, from other foreigners. I said, but how do you cross the road in Italy? When when the zebra crossings were just ornaments or decorations on the road. And in fashion, he said, "Yeah, they told me I just have to go for it. Or if you see a nun, then you're lucky. You just stay close to the nun because it's bad luck to well, to kill a nun or to run over a nun is bad luck. So if you're close to her, to a nun, then all the cars will stop. Or maybe there is really is probably respect for a religious figure as well. Anyway, so yes, I was going. So yes, do let me go. Do let me know about your experiences or stories that you've had, even if you are not there in person to see whatever story, whatever uh, thing you did happen. So yeah, feel free to put it in the comments, and maybe everybody can have a laugh. Right, so I will leave you here, and I will see you on our next session. Bye bye. Ciao. Good luck. Buona fortuna.